A complete 12,000 plus character version would need multiple responses. Have you ever bought an air conditioner that looked perfect on paper? Today, we're counting down the top 5 best ACs for a 1414 room, helping you avoid wasted money, wasted energy, and disappointing performance. Stick around until the end because one option stands out as the most dependable overall choice. And if any of these catch your attention, you'll find links waiting for you in the description below. Now let's move at the number 5. We have the Midea 550 square feet. Now here's something many people discover the hard way. An air conditioner can run for hours, blow cold air continuously, and still leave a room feeling oddly uncomfortable. One corner feels cool. Another feels warm. The temperature never quite settles. Instead of relaxing, you're constantly adjusting settings and waiting for the room to feel right. That's exactly why room coverage matters so much. The Midea 550 square feet model earns its place on this list because it offers coverage that comfortably exceeds the needs of a typical 1414 room. On paper, that might sound like a simple specification. In real life, it can completely change the experience of living with an AC every day. Picture arriving home after spending time outside in intense summer heat. The room feels heavy. Compared to others, the Midea offers broader cooling reach and greater adaptability to changing room layouts. That versatility can make ownership feel easier over time because you're not constantly working around the limitations of the unit. What truly stands out isn't a single feature. It's the overall experience. Less temperature fluctuation. Less waiting. Less frustration. And sometimes the smartest home upgrade isn't a new piece of furniture or a dramatic renovation. Sometimes it's simply walking into your room and feeling comfortable the moment you step inside. Coming up next at number 4 is the Augsmile 850 square feet. We move to something designed with an entirely different philosophy. The Augsmile 850 square feet model. Here's an interesting reality that rarely gets discussed. Many air conditioners succeed at cooling the room, but fail at creating comfort. Those two things sound identical, yet they aren't always the same. Cooling is a number. Comfort is a feeling. And comfort is where this model earns attention. Imagine sitting near a window during a hot afternoon. One side of the room feels warm. Another feels acceptable. Certain corners never seem to receive enough airflow. It's a common complaint, especially in rooms that deal with direct sunlight during parts of the day. The Augsmile approaches that challenge with generous room coverage and a focus on wider cooling distribution. For a 1414 room, that larger coverage area creates an interesting advantage. Instead of feeling like the AC is constantly trying to catch up with the heat, the room often feels like it has breathing room. Air circulation can feel more consistent across the space. Compared to others, Augsmile creates a stronger sense of consistency throughout the room. Not necessarily colder, not necessarily faster. More consistent. And consistency is one of the most underrated aspects of comfort. Because comfort isn't about experiencing a burst of cold air for 5 minutes, it's about feeling good an hour later. What makes this model memorable isn't simply cooling performance, it's the experience of entering a room that already feels balanced. No constant adjustments. No ongoing battle with hotspots. No feeling that one area receives all the attention while another gets ignored. Some products announce themselves every day. Others quietly improve your environment without demanding recognition. This feels much closer to the second category. And that's exactly why it earns the number 4 position in today's ranking. Let's keep the momentum going. At number 3, we have the LG 115 volts. We arrive at a model that earns attention for a very different reason. The LG 115 volts. Sometimes the biggest mistake isn't buying an air conditioner that's too small. It's choosing one that turns comfort into a daily struggle. The cooling might be acceptable. The performance might be decent. Yet every day feels like you're working around the unit instead of enjoying it. That's where this model separates itself. While some buyers focus only on coverage numbers, many forget about something equally important: everyday practicality. Because no matter how powerful an AC appears on paper, the experience changes completely if installation becomes complicated or compatibility creates unnecessary stress. Will it work with the outlets available? Will setup become a headache? Will daily operation feel simple or frustrating? Those concerns are more common than people realize. This is exactly where a 115-volt air conditioner becomes attractive. Because it works with standard household power setups, it removes one of the biggest mental barriers people face when upgrading their cooling system. Instead of worrying about special electrical requirements, attention can remain focused on what actually matters: making the room comfortable. And comfort is something LG has spent years building its reputation around. As we continue our search for the best AC for a 1414 room, this model brings a balanced approach that feels refreshingly practical. It's designed around dependable operation, familiar usability, and the kind of experience that doesn't require constant attention. Reliable airflow helps maintain a pleasant indoor environment without making you feel like you're constantly adjusting settings. Instead of chasing the perfect temperature throughout the day, the room simply feels comfortable more often. And that's a surprisingly valuable quality, because true comfort isn't exciting, it's effortless, a week passes, then two, then three. You stop thinking about the AC altogether, because it isn't working, because it is, the cool evenings become normal, the comfortable afternoons become expected, the room quietly transforms into a place where you actually enjoy spending time. Before we reveal the next contender, if one of these models already sounds like the right fit for your needs, you'll find all the links waiting in the description below. Checking current pricing and availability can sometimes make the decision much easier. Now, let's move even closer to the top spot. Breaking into the top two, the Electactic 8000 British thermal units takes the number 2 position. Bigger isn't always better. The Electactic 8000 British thermal units model earns its position by focusing on something surprisingly difficult to achieve: balance. Because when most people shop for an air conditioner, they naturally assume more power must mean better performance. More cooling, more coverage, more capability, it sounds logical, but real-world comfort often tells a different story. Imagine sitting in your room during the hottest part of the day. The air feels heavy. The afternoon sun has been heating the space for hours. You switch on the AC and wait for relief. What you're really hoping for isn't maximum power, it's effective power. The kind that matches the room, the kind that cools efficiently, the kind that doesn't leave you wondering why your electricity bill keeps climbing every month. That's where the Electactic 8000 B2 model enters the conversation. Instead of chasing oversized specifications, it focuses on delivering targeted cooling performance designed for everyday living spaces. For many buyers, that approach makes far more sense than simply purchasing the largest unit available. Because the goal isn't to own the biggest air conditioner. The goal is to create a comfortable room. And there's a difference. One challenge homeowners frequently face is finding the balance between cooling performance and energy use. Too little capacity leaves the room uncomfortable. Compared to others, the Electactic feels more focused and purposeful. It approaches comfort through efficiency rather than brute force. The benefits become most noticeable during everyday use. The room feels consistently comfortable. Distractions fade away. Temperature swings become less noticeable. You settle into your evening without thinking about the weather outside. And sometimes that's the highest compliment an air conditioner can receive. Not that it impressed you once, but that it quietly improves every day afterward. Some products cool the air. Others improve the entire atmosphere of a room. The Electactic 8000 B2 model earns its number 2 ranking because it understands the difference. And finally, taking the number 1 spot on our list, we have the YLEOOB 730 square feet. Now, before you assume this ranking is only about coverage numbers, there's something important to understand. Comfort isn't always ruined by extreme heat. Sometimes it's ruined by inconsistency. A room that's just a few degrees warmer than it should be. A corner that never seems to cool properly. Airflow that feels uneven from one side of the room to the other. These small frustrations don't sound dramatic, yet they have a surprising impact on everyday life. They affect how well you relax, how productive you feel, and even how enjoyable your evenings become. That's exactly why the YLEOOB deserves a closer look. Throughout this countdown, we've seen models that prioritize flexibility, wide coverage, practical installation, and efficient cooling. The YLEOOB manages to combine several of those advantages into a package that feels remarkably balanced for a 1414 room. And balance is often what separates a good purchase from a satisfying one. Many shoppers face a difficult choice when searching for an air conditioner. They want strong cooling performance. They want enough coverage to handle changing conditions, but they don't want something that feels unnecessarily oversized or difficult to live with every day. Finding that middle ground can be challenging. This model aims directly at that sweet spot. With coverage rated for up to 730 square feet, it comfortably exceeds the requirements of a typical 1414 room. But for many households, it's a worthwhile compromise. Because flexibility matters. Life changes. Room usage changes. Weather changes. And having extra capability available can feel reassuring when conditions become more demanding. Compared to others, the YLEOOB creates an experience that feels thoughtfully balanced from day to day. Reliable airflow. Consistent comfort. No waiting. No frustration. No second thoughts about your purchase. Just a room that finally feels the way you always wanted it to feel. And that's why it earns the number 1 position in today's ranking. Now that we've covered all 5 options, it's time to answer the question many viewers have been waiting for. Which one would be the strongest overall purchase? Based on the limited information available, the winner is LG. And the reason isn't complicated. When you're investing in an air conditioner, you're not only buying cooling performance, you're buying reliability. You're buying long-term ownership experience. You're buying the peace of mind that comes from choosing a brand with a proven track record. While the other options primarily emphasize room coverage figures or B2 ratings, LG brings something additional to the table. Reputation. Over the years, LG has built strong recognition for dependable performance, energy-conscious operation, product support, and overall build quality. That's why, unless another model offers a specific coverage requirement or feature that better matches your situation, LG stands out as the safest and most dependable choice among today's selections. That doesn't take away from the strengths of the other contenders. The Midea impressed with its broad coverage and adaptability. The Augsmile delivered impressive consistency across larger spaces. The Electactic showed how effective targeted cooling can be when properly matched to a room. And the YLEOOB demonstrated why balanced performance can create such a satisfying daily experience. Each model earned its place on this list for a reason. The right choice ultimately depends on your room, your priorities, and your budget. If you'd like to check current pricing or learn more about any of the models featured today, you'll find all the links conveniently listed in the description below. And if this video helped make your decision a little easier, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more carefully researched reviews and buying guides. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Until next time, remember this: a great air conditioner doesn't just cool a room, it changes how that room feels every single day.